Here's reporter David Taylor with the day's business news.
This sort of jobs picture is pretty good. We've got an unemployment rate that's hanging around 5.6, 5.5%. It's been doing that for quite some time. And over the year, and the politicians said this morning and this afternoon, by the way, that we've actually got an increase, a gradual increase in full-time jobs being created. That's the great news. That's wonderful news. And 54,000 jobs, full-time jobs, is employment creation, nothing to sneeze at. The problem is we've still got record underemployment, which means that those who want to work more hours aren't being able to work those more hours. And a lot of people, there's a casualisation of the workforce. A lot of people working part-time, a lot of people on casual work. So it's very difficult in that scenario to create wage inflation, because there's basically more people that want jobs than there are jobs. So even though that unemployment rate of 5.6% would normally create wage inflation and higher wages and pay rises, it's not at the moment. And I suspect that's because of the underemployment rate.
So the two big problems there, underemployment and stagnant wages growth. However, the Aussie dollar reacted well to the numbers.
It did, and that's likely because of the top line figures, that we've got job creation, and it looks like that will continue. And if it does continue, the Reserve Bank suggests that that will lead to higher economic growth. The logic is you get more jobs created, that leads to inflation, that leads to higher wages, people spend more, the economy grows. That's the logic of it, and that's what the Reserve Bank is predicting.
And rates go up, so the Aussie goes
that's
up,
right.
go up in
Hit
tandem.
It in one.
Okay, let's talk corporate news now. An 80% profit slump for Myer. Can you take us through the breakdown?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the profit itself is an interesting one, because you've got, like you say, an 80% profit fall, but the share price actually went up, and that's because the market had such a dismal view on what the actual result was going to be. So the earnings, if you like, was 67 million. The market was expecting 64. Share price went up. The problem with Myer at the moment is that it's suffering from this overall slump in foot traffic through department stores. So if you look at the trend over the last 3 months, retail sales have been choppy, not necessarily rising consistently, and in particular, when you drill down in the numbers from the ABS, department stores have been really feeling it. So much so that Myer has had to shed entire stores around, I think Hornsby in Sydney is one store that's going, and there are other stores around the country as well. So
3 stores in total, I believe.
That's right. So there's that does hit the balance sheet, and it means that those write-downs produce a lesser profit, of course. But it's one of those awful situations that Myer needs to sort of transition more than it has into online shopping, and of course fend off this horrible threat that's coming from Amazon. Okay,
well, let's have a look at the greater markets now. How did they trade today?
Not too bad. I mean, the market didn't suffer any great losses or get any big gains for that matter. We did have the miners fall at the start of trade, which got things off to a bad start, but the banks were a counterbalance to that. The banks actually did quite well, even Stevens at the end of the day, and the Myer share price, it did go up, but it didn't influence things too much.
David Taylor there with that finance update.